Welcome creators, I'm the Homios, and this is my channel, where we inspire creativity, explore game development tools and software that bring Unreal Engine projects to life. In this video, we're building an X-ray vision system in Unreal Engine, along with a power system that controls how long the abilities can be used. We're going to change how objects and characters are rendered using a post-processed material so you can see them through other objects using a custom stencil setup. Then we'll hook that into a power system, so when the power runs out, the ability shuts off until you refill it with a power pickup. This is part 20 of the third-person game series, and if you missed any of the series, check out the playlist. The link will be in the description. If you find this channel helpful, don't forget to subscribe. It helps me bring more videos like this. So with that said, let's jump into Unreal Editor. Okay, in our editor here, I have my project that I've been working on. And I'm going to go up to the top window here in these nav links. I'm going to hit edit and I'm going to go to project settings. Now in this search bar here under all settings, you want to make sure you have stencil typed in. And what I'm going to do is under post processing, you have your custom depth stencil pass. We're going to go ahead and change that to enable with stencil. So now that is done, so we're going to go back into the level. Okay, now I'm going to go into the content drawer here, and what I'm going to do is I have all my materials in the starter content. So this is where I'm going to store my materials. You can make a new folder wherever you want them, but this is where I'm putting them. So I'm going to go ahead and right click, and I'm going to go under materials. And what I want to do is I want to get material parameter collection. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Let's create that. And I'm going to go ahead and name it NPC X-ray vision. Now I'm going to go ahead and open that. Now I'm going to go under scalar parameters and I am going to add another array. And under the parameter name, I am going to call this X-ray on. Now I can go ahead and save this and we can close it. I'm going to open up my third person character blueprint, my BP third person character, my third person, my blueprint, and I'm going to go into the event graph. Okay, one thing we're going to do is make sure I have the BP third person character selected, and under the detail panel, I am looking for custom depth pass. Under the mesh, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I have that checked. I'm going to make sure I have that compiled. And next, I'm going to add two variables. I'm going to make sure that they are float. And I am going to call them, the first one I am going to call power used. And then we're going to go ahead and get another one. Drop down the variable. And this is going to be max power. Next, I'm going to make sure I compile. And the first one I am going to, well, let me get rid of the custom depth here. After compiled, this is going to be our default value is going to be 1. So it's 1%. I mean, 1 whole would be 100%. And our max power, we do not want to go over the 1, which would be 100%. Let me go ahead and compile that. Okay, I'm going to find a nice little space here, a little open space here, open area. And what I want to do is I want to get the X key. There it is. You might have to scroll up a little bit. So what I'm going to do off of pressed, I'm going to do the flip-flop. Get the flip-flop node here. Okay, so this is what we're going to press. If we want the action, this is going to be, it acts like a toggle. So this is going to be the action on and then press it again for action off. So now one thing I'm going to do right in between these two is I'm going to have a branch, because what I want to do is I want a true. So if it's true, you can use these actions. If it's false, it's going to do nothing. So what I want to be true is I'm going to go ahead and get that power used. And we're going to go ahead and get power used. And what I want to do is off of this, well, off of the branch, I want to get a greater equal to. So now I can go ahead and put this on the top. And what I want to do is anything under 0.5, actually, no, point, let me go back, 0.05. Okay. So that's like 5 out of, so it would be 95. Every 0.05 would be taking 5 out of 1. So it's like 5% basically what it's taken out of the 1. So we got 5% here. Anything under 5%, it's not going to work. So this is what we want. So this value right here. So now we want to create is every time we use this value, it's going to take away from this value here. So we're at 100%. We want to use 0.5 until there's no more. So this is not being used anymore. So how I'm going to do that is I want to go ahead and get that power used. And what I want to do is get the set power. So let me go and put that in there. So off of set power, I do want to get a clamp float. Clamp float. Okay, this is where I'm going to make sure it does not go over the 1 value. So we're going to get, if we get more to fill up our value, it doesn't go past the 1. So I'm going to bring in this max power. This is our max value that is set to 1. But that's what we want. We want the minimum to be 0. And now here's the action that we're taking. We're going to get the power used. And we're going to get that. And what I want to do is I want to get a subtraction. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to subtract that 0.05. Oh, that didn't work. 0.05. There we go. And we want to take that and plug that into the value. So there we go. So every time we go ahead and hit the X key here, it's going to make a check if the condition is valid. So if the condition is greater or equal to the 5%, then it can go ahead and run A. So which that's going to do is that's going to minus that 5%. Go and clean this up here because we're going to have to use B. Yeah. Pull this up a little bit. Okay, so I want a print string to let me know about the value. So get that. So this is how we can test this to make sure everything is working. And I'm going to go ahead and compile. I'm going to hit play. So now you can see every time I toggle X on, it takes 5% away. Now what we want to do is we want to actually creates a pickup where it can make that go up. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to come back to this and we're going to finish this. Okay, next I am going to go ahead into my blueprint, which we were at, and I'm going to go ahead and create a blueprint class, which is going to be an actor, simple actor, and we're just going to call this pickup power. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go inside pickup power or pick power. We can change that. Let me go back. That sounds funny. So we're going to go ahead and change that. F2 pick power. Yeah, forgot the up. So okay, so in pickup, I want to stay in the event graph here, and I'm going to delete all those. All right, so I'm going to go back into the viewport, and I'm just going to add a static mesh. Let me pull over the details here, and under static mesh here, then drop down, and I'm just going to do something simple like a cone for now. No, I don't want to do a cone. No, I want to do a cylinder. Yeah. So now we got this created. I'm going to add another component. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get that collision. There's other ways to do this, but I like using the collision. Get a capsule collision. So you can see it. It's there. We're going to go ahead and make that a little bit bigger. I'll just do 0.5. Keep it small. No, that's still... Oh, I know it is. I have the capsule. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete capsule collision, make sure I got pickup power selected, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the collision in. So it's more like a brother of the pair than the son of the static mesh. All right, so now they're brothers, and I can go ahead and change the size. I'm going to go ahead and make sure this is scaled back. So I can change the capsule radius here and the height. There we go. That's exactly what I want. All right, it just has to be a little bit bigger. So while I have this capsule, this is the capsule collision selected. I'm going to scroll down here, and what we're looking for is on component beginning overlap under the events here. So we're going to go ahead and add that on. And the first thing I want to get is a cast to BP third. Here's my third person character. Great. And I want to take the object and I'm going to go ahead and attach that into other actor. Let me go ahead and pull that back a little bit. So the next I want to do is I want to get the set power used. So there's our set power used. And I'm going to go ahead and plug that in here. Okay, so I want to do some things down here. So what I want to do is off of power use. Well, first down here, I'm just going to get another clamp node. Clamp by float. Here's my clamp by float there. And I want to get another power used, and I want to get a max power. So we're going to get the power, and we're going to get power used. And next I want to get the max power. There's get max power. Okay, so we're going to use these. So just like we did before, we're going to go ahead and attach the max power to max. The minimum would be, actually no, this is what I want to do, because we want to, now this is where we're going to add. So every time he makes the collision, we're going to add 0.25. I think that would be pretty good. Nope, that's not what I want to do. I want to go up, I want to hit add, I want to select add, and under its value, I want to do 0.25. Okay, so next we can go ahead and add this into the value. All right, so that all looks correct. Clean this up a little bit. Okay, so next I want to go ahead, instead of, I don't like destroying the actor. What I do like doing is getting the capsule and set visibility. Okay, and we want no visibility. There's no new visibility. And next I want to do the same thing with a set collision, but I want to do that under the capsule. So we're going to go ahead and drag that in, and I'm just going to put set collision. Oops, I don't know what is going on. I'm going to drag off and set collision enabled. So there's going to be no collision. And I also want to drag in the capsule as well, in case you have any collision under the capsule, if you have that set. And next I want to do a print string to get the value. So it shows us the value. So we're going to get the print string. And we are going to connect that into the set. So it shows us the power being taken away and the power being used. All right, so next thing I want to do is I want to put in a delay. Now, after you check these, you can go ahead and just get rid of the print string. So I want to do a delay of just 5 seconds should be good. So after that, I want to get this. I want to go ahead and copy these. I'm going to Control Z, come over here, hit Control V, and drag these in. And now I want to set the collision, new visibility, and set no collision to collision enabled query and physics. Now we can go and compile and save everything, and we can go into our level, and we could drag that pickup power that we just made. We'll just drag it in. I'm sorry, I gotta go back. I forgot to, under the power pickup, I forgot to return the value and from the clamp float into the power used, so that I can set it. I'm going to go back. I never pulled out the static mesh and the capsule. I got that backwards. So I'm going to delete this capsule. The static mesh is supposed to go into the target, not the capsule. We got the capsule only has the collision. They compile that. And actually, I'm going to go back into the level here. And I want to go ahead and move this away from the enemy. And we're just going to pull this up. And I'm going to hit end. So it drops nicely. Actually, we're going to back a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and set this so the character can see it. So now I can just go ahead and hit play. And I'm going to go ahead and hit X. Only a couple of times. So when I go ahead and pick it up, as you can see, it gave me just one. And I used 80, so it should have gave me 105. It should have went over to 1.5 or something like that. So you can see the clamp stopped it from getting any more value. So next I want to go back into my character here, my character blueprints, and where we left off, the print screen, I want to get a play sound, and sound 2D would be just fine. I'm going to go ahead and hit Control D to copy this. So off of, here we go, off of our flip-flop here, we're going to go ahead and drag off into this new sound 2D. So this is where you select your sounds. I believe it comes with it. Well, let me see if I can find it. Ah, here it is. Okay, so this one, the dockable window close, I like that one. And this is going to be the one, you want another dockable, dockable window close, window drone. I like that one. Let me go listen to that. So it gives you the click and everything that you need. There's like a power up. Sounds great. Like I said, this might be with Unreal Engine 5.7. I'm not sure. Like, again, you can go into Pixabay, and I will have that link in the description. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we are going to make a timeline. Okay, so add a timeline, and we don't need to name this. If you want to name it, you can name it. Let me move this in a little bit. Just hit F2. Let me call it X-ray. This will be like the X-ray timeline. So next thing I want to do is I want to go into the timeline and I want to add a track. We're adding a float track. Okay, so we're going to set the value to 0.5, and we're going to right click and we're going to add a key to float 1, and you just go ahead and set the value 0, or was it 0.5? I'm sorry, 0.5. Oh wait, no, this is wrong. It was 0. That was correct. Next one you want to go ahead and set add key float is going to be the 0.5 and by the value of 1. Go ahead. Okay, so I want to right click and I want to make this a little smoother. So I'm just going to go ahead and auto right click. I'm going to set auto so you can see it made the transition a little bit smoother. So we can go ahead and save that. And we're going to go back into the event graph here. Next, I want to drag off here and I want to get set scalar parameter value. And that's going to be the first one here. And we're going to set the MPC X-ray vision material that we made. And the value is going to be the X-ray on. And now that's going to set the value. So now we wanted to reverse that. And how we're going to do that is when we toggle off or B, we play our sound, we're going to hit reverse. So this is going to reverse our timeline that we made here. I want to go inside of it. So this is forward, and then reverse, it's just going to play it backwards. So that's going to go ahead and turn it off for us. Go back in here. And we want to take a new track 0 and put it on the permanent parameter value. Now we can go ahead and compile and save. Next, we're going to go ahead under our content drawer. I'm going to go back into my starter contact where I have my materials. And I'm going to scroll all the way down, and this is where we're going to make a new material. And we're just going to make the material, and I'm going to go ahead and call that M_X-ray vision. And now we're going to go ahead inside of that material. So with our material selected, we come over here to the details panel, and I want to look for the material domain, and I want to change this surface into post-process. Okay, so I'm going to X out of that. Next, I want to search for blendable location, and I want to go ahead and change this. So we want to change this scene color after tone. We want to go ahead and change that to scene color before bloom. Okay, so those are all the changes that we're going to have to do. So I'm going to X out of that. Okay, next I want to right click, and I want to get a scene texture. So we're going to pull this, we're going to zoom out of this a little bit. We are going to use a little bit of space here. So let's just separate these two. Okay, so I want to go off of color. I'm looking for a component mask. There's my component mask. And I want to make sure that the B channel is selected. Well, you can also select the mask, and you can also change it in the details, but just make sure all these three are selected. Move this up here. So next I want to get a blend overlay. Okay. All right, so what I want to do now is I want to leave that blend overlay alone a little bit. And I want to make sure I have the scene texture that just dropped in. And I want to go under its details, and where it says scene texture, I want to make sure I turn that into post-processing 0. Okay, so that is very important. I should have done that first. So the next thing I want to do, I want to get another scene texture. We go right click and call it a scene texture. I can just actually duplicate this one here. And for this one, I want to make sure this one, by selecting it, is world normal. So in the details panel, select world normal for that one. And then I want to get another mask just like this one and bring it in. We can close it up and just make sure that all three are selected. So we go ahead from color, select that, and put them together. Next, I want to get a Fresno. There's our Fresno. And we want to go ahead and connect the two together. Sorry, let me go ahead and disconnect that. This is supposed to go into the normal. I'm going to bring these two down a little bit. And next, I want to get a 2V constant vector 2V vector. And we're going to connect the X value and to the exponent. Next, we're going to get a lerp, which is a linear interpolation. And we're going to connect into the alpha. So now we got to get two values that we want to blend together. Now I don't like having, this is if you want to have, you ever seen Batman where it has like the blue background. But to do that, we're going to get a 3 vector. So we're getting a constant 3 vector. And I'm going to hit Control D. Now you can just go ahead and put in the numbers if you want for the colors that you want, or you can just double click on a color picker. Okay, so I'm gonna hit OK. So let me move this up a little bit more room, pull this down here, and I want to make this more brighter. So I'm gonna change, actually I'm gonna hit the color picker and go onto here, and I'm just gonna make this bright. And you can play with the values that you want. So we just go ahead and connect the B and the A together. Next, you want to go ahead and connect the lerp value into the blend V3. And then you can just go ahead and compile and hit apply and save. Next, we're going to get another lerp. like lerp blends two values together, like two colors together over time. That is what it's called. It's not really called a lerp, it's called a linear interpolation is the correct name for it. I guess lerp is just, it's a long name, so they just abbreviated it. So we're going to go, so that's what that does, and that's what that's called. We're going to make sure we get a little bit more room here. Okay, so next thing I want to do is I'm going to come all the way over here into the corner below this. And actually, we're just going to go ahead and copy this. I'm going to hit Control D, duplicate. So, but now we do have to change the values in here. So we'll go like we did before, the scene texture ID. The one we want is the custom stencil. So that is, I guess, down there. There's the custom stencil. Just apply that. Okay, so next I want to get a component mask. Okay, so we're gonna get that. There it is, component mask. And we are going to make sure in the details that we have the the B selected, so we do. Okay, I want to go back to the scene texture, and I don't want to call this custom stencil. We want to call it the post-processing 0 is what we're going to call this one. Okay, so the mask is right, and the next thing I want to do is I want to connect that into that blend overlay. So we're going to get that blend overlay. Here's our blend overlay. Okay, we're going to come off of here and we're going to get a lerp. Oops, I spelled that wrong. Here, into plate. Okay, so off of my new lerp that I have, actually I'm going to make two colors. So just like what we did up here, I'm actually going to select these. And I'm going to hit Control D and I'm going to bring them down here. So we're going to use these. These are going to be the value of what you want your character, the color that you lock onto them. So I'm going to make mine a green and we're going to make it a bright green. Okay. And so we're going to go ahead and connect that into the B option. And then I'm going to get another lerp here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put that into what B here. We already have a blue, so let's make this one red. Nice bright red. Yeah, you tone it down a little bit. There you go. Hit OK. Okay, so I want to come down here in the left corner, right click, and get another scene texture. What am I doing? Scene texture. Here's the scene texture. And I want to set this to custom stencil. So under scene color, scroll down, and you should find custom stencil. There it is. Next, I want to get another component mask. And to make sure we have the B selected, drop down, there's the B. Now I want to go ahead and drag off that mask, and we want to get a clamp. Just regular clamp. And we're going to keep the value the same, 0 is minimum. That's the mask. And what I want to do is I want to drag this into the alpha. So now I want to come off of mask again, and I want to get a subtraction. There it is. Usually I just hit the minus and it comes up. Okay, so we're going to keep the value just at 1. And what I'm going to do, so what that is this is going to be the top one here. This color is going to be the first value, and it's subtracting 1, and this would be the second value. So we're going to come off of that. We're going to get another clamp. Control D to duplicate this one here together, so we got the minimum and the maximum, and we're just going to go ahead and drag that into this alpha, this lerp's alpha. Take the output, put it in the alpha. Let me go ahead and add a node here. Go ahead and separate this, clean this up a little bit. Okay, next we're going to come off of this clamp here, and we're going to go ahead and drag this into the alpha from the LARP. It was coming off of our first blend here, blend overlay. So we want to go into the alpha. Let me give that a node, put this down a little bit, clean this up. Next, I want to come off of this LARP here, and I want to connect it to the blend V3. This is how it should look. So we're going to go ahead and connect this into the B. We have a few more things that we have to do, but I'm going to come off of this LARP here, and I want to get a multiply, and I want to go ahead and connect this to another LARP. Okay, so I want to get another post scene texture. Scene texture. Okay, so I want to go ahead and change this scene texture to post processing. Well, it's selected. I go into details, and we're looking at post processing 0. Input, post process input. That would be 0. Next, I want to get another mask, component mask, color. There's my component mask, and make sure that you have the B selected. Now we got the multiplier into the wrong slot, so I'm going to hit Alt and click on that, and I'm going to make sure this is in the B slot, and I'm going to take the mask value and throw it in the LARP's A slot. Next, I want to right click, and I'm going to get a collection parameter. Go ahead and bring that in. So with this selected, we go over to the details panel here, and under collections, the little drop down, you can go ahead and with the MPC X-ray vision and go ahead and select that. And we are going to connect that to the alpha. Okay, so we got to finish this slot here. Next, we're going to get a screen position, and we're going to come off of the value, and we are going to get a screen or a sphere mask. And we're going to connect that value into the multiply, the B value. So just a couple more things here. And I'm going to go ahead and drop this down to here and get this over with. We're going to go ahead and connect that to immersive color, but you can see we still got errors. So we just got to finish this up. Now I'm going to right click, and I'm going to get a constant. And I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this twice. Okay, so now I got to set their values. This one is going to be 0.5. And the second value, I'm going to have 0.8. And the third value is going to be, let me make sure I get over there, negative 0.5. Now we just go ahead and connect the values in the same order. We got the B, and we're going to 0.8 is going to be our radius, and our negative 5 is going to be the hardness. Okay, and we're going to correct this error here. Make sure that we have it selected, and we forgot to give it a parameter name that we have that we had the X-ray on. So, and that clears that up. Okay, now we can go ahead and apply and save. Now we're going to come back to these values. I'm going to show you what these values do, and then we can change them. You can always change them here. I actually don't like to have these plugged in. I'll show you why. But this is the materials, so we can go ahead and save that. And I'm going to go into our level. And what I want to do is I want to get a post-process volume. And we can go ahead and drag it into our level. I want to go ahead and set the scaling value, make sure I have this locked so I can just do the first one. And I'm going to set it at 10,000 just to make sure it covers the entire level. Looks good. Okay, so next thing with the post-process volume selected, I'm going to go into the search here in the details panel, and I'm looking for post-processed material. And so I want to go ahead under the post-processed material, have the drop down, and we're going to go ahead and add another array. And we're going to choose asset reference. And now there's nothing on there. We're going to go ahead and choose our material, which would be the X-ray that we created. So the M underscore X-ray vision, that is the material. We can go ahead and save that. Now I'm going to go to our enemy. So with our enemy selected, we are going to search for custom depth pass and render custom depth pass. We're going to go ahead and under the mesh, don't worry about the capsule component, just the mesh. We're going to go ahead and select it, and then we can just go ahead and put our value in. We can set that for value 1. And on something else, let's say this tree, we'll go under its custom. I'm not sure that it has one. So we're just going to go ahead and add in a cube. So I'm going to go under shapes here, and I'm just going to add in a cube. And then we're looking at custom depth pass. Render custom depth pass, check true, and this is going to be our number 2. Now this is going to render the material that we had in our materials. This is 1, and this is 2, and this is going to be our overlay. Okay, so now if you go ahead and test it out, I'm going to go ahead and hit play. Get into a nice position here so we can see through this. All right, we can't see anything. We hit X. There goes our X-ray with the background. And you see, we got number 1 is our green and number 2 is our cube. And we can see them through. Now here's something that I found out, that you can see through everything else, but they can't see through each other. So if I was to take this cube here, select it, and let's say we can go ahead and make that 5. There we go, that's pretty big. So if we go ahead and bring this in front of the character, and now if I go and hit play, so you can't see through, and when you go into X-ray mode, you can't see them. So it's like, you know, Superman's lead, he can't see through lead. So that's basically the same thing. You go behind him, there he is. It still works. If you go up to the tree, you can see him. So everything works. So next thing, as you can see, we still lose our power, but I'm going to set that up into a progress bar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go under content drawer here, starter content. Sorry, just no regular content. What I'm looking for is the UIs, and I want to get the game widget. That's where I have everything. It's easier doing it inside the game widget. And let's get our progress bar. Okay, and we're just going to go ahead and drag it in. And just put it over top here. And another thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take these guys, select them. I think they look better up here. This will show our life, and that way we can take this one and we can drag it down a little bit more. And I want to do the same with this. Just over top of it, drag it out, and just make it a little smaller so it lines up with the health bar. Actually, I'm going to make it a little smaller in length there. That looks pretty good. Okay, so now you can go ahead and change the style, like the background image, or you can have, instead of the white, looks like a whitish gray, make it yellow. And you want the cover image, the fill image, let's say, not the image, you want the color. So here's the color right here, the tint. I like to make it blue, like a bright blue. Okay. So if we go ahead under percents here, where's my percents? So under progress here, hit this drop down, and that's where the percent is hiding. Go ahead and fill it up. So now we just got to go ahead and connect this to our power system. So we got to do that in a like an event graph in the blueprint. So right next to percent, you have this little bind button. So you want to create a binding. So that will take it to the get percent. And what I want to do is I want to pass to third person, BP third person. Yeah, BP third person character. Okay, so under objects here, now we wanted to get player character. There's a player character. And we just want to get power use, or the use power. Yeah, get you power use. And we're just going to go ahead and connect that in. And let's compile and save. Now I want to go back into the designer, and under the process where we have the percent, you can do left to right, right to left, or what I like to do is fill from center. Let's go ahead and compile and hit play. We run around, we hit our X, and we turn it off. As you can see, now the value in my bar is going down. So after it gets to 0.5, I can no longer use that. So, but if I come over here to our refill, we get 25% more, and we can use our X-ray again. Now, another thing I would like to do is a couple more things. This right here, when I go and target onto the character, we can go ahead and get rid of that. So I'm going to go into my BP third person character. And I'm going to go up to the target system logic that we created in the last video. And we can go ahead under sphere trace for objects. We can just go ahead and put that for none. We can compile that. Another thing I like to go into is back into the materials. And that blue, like this is preference if you like it or you want to change the color. But what I like to do, I like to keep them. I just like to keep the color regular. So it doesn't really change the background color. I mean, you can do it. Oops, I didn't hit save. Why? Save. It tints it a little bit, and that seems good enough for me. I like it like that. It's all, you know, preference. How do you like it? If you want it to look like Batman, or if you want it to look real. And if you wanted to change these colors, that you wanted that to be green and the other one to be red, you can just go ahead and flip-flop these around, or you can just go ahead and change the value of the character itself under the custom depth pass. We can go ahead and change that to 1. They both are that green. So it's all about preference, how you like it. And that will be it for this video. If this video helps you out, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. And if you want to be part of the community or get help with projects, check out my Discord. The link will be in the description. And like always, stay inspired and keep creating. I'll see you in the next video.